What's up, everybody? This is Lance. I am the host of the Health and Real Estate podcast. And today's guest is Michael Repasky. He is the operating principal out of the Greater Metropolitan Market Center based out of Cleveland, Ohio area. And that market center, I just pulled the numbers. Last year, they were the number 4 market center out of profitability out of all KW market centers in the US and Canada, which is over 800 market centers. They ranked number 4 last year. They're also in the top 5 within the last 5 years. So an insanely profitable office. And let's just start, how did you get into real estate, Michael?
Hey, Lance, thanks for having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about a company and a profit sharing model that I love. So I'm excited to, chat it up a little bit. I was actually in an ALC meeting this morning. That's our Associate Leadership or Agent Leadership Council for any of your non Keller Williams listeners. And so I was talking to them about life and business development, as that is all the rage these days and specifically this time of year. But I did get into, how did I end up at Keller Williams? And it was in the context of, being patient with yourself in the business development and growing a business. I think it was Mark Twain who said, all success in life comes down to three things: luck, skill, and timing. And we're really in control of one of those wholly, and then another one partially. And then the last one, luck, is wholly out of our hands. When I told a story to them about how luck has impacted my life, and I was a senior in high school. So we got to go all the way back to 2004, and I'm sitting in the guidance counselor's office as I had been waitlisted for a scholarship to attend The Ohio State University. And I was very frustrated because I needed this scholarship to make my matriculation happen. And my guidance counselor challenged me and she was like, "Look, there are a lot of different scholarship opportunities. You being on the wait list for one doesn't mean that you're not going to get it, but two doesn't mean it's the only scholarship out there." And she pointed to a bulletin board that had a bunch of scholarships pegged to it. And at that time, I intended to be a doctor and was pre med or was going to declare pre med. And she pointed to one. And she's like, "Look, this is one for pre-med students, and it's for $1,000." And it was not an application for a scholarship for pre-med students. It was a scholarship being offered by a fraternity on campus. That fraternity was Sigma Phi Epsilon, and they were offering a $1,000 scholarship to an incoming freshman that espoused and lived up to and exemplified their ideals of sound mind and sound body. Pretty appropriate for the health and real estate podcast.
Mhm.
Um, the person that I met, who was the chapter president, was a guy named Scott Phillips. So I ended up to go on to win that scholarship, join that fraternity, and have for the last 20 years Scott Phillips as my friend and mentor. As life went on, he was a senior when I was a freshman. He graduated, went off, and started his career. And then I graduated college and did the same. I worked for many years in corporate retail as a financial analyst. And over the course of 2009 to 2019, I would see Scott every year at a leadership academy that was hosted by the fraternity in Chicago, where we would help undergraduates and those same people that we once were learn about leadership develop, leading a team, being a good cross-functional partner. So I would always be facilitating on the faculty with Scott. In 2009, Scott went from a career in insurance, which was quite unsuccessful, uh, to a career in real estate. And I grew up in a small town. There was about 8,000 people in my hometown, and there were like 2 realtors. And so I didn't really know. My parents never bought or sold real estate in the time that I was alive. I'd never been exposed to it, but the people that I knew were also like substitute teachers in the high school or, were my buddies' moms that would hold open houses occasionally. So I was like, man, here's a guy I used to look up to and I want to be. And now he's like doing this real estate thing. Like that's shucks. And he's like, man, you should really check out real estate. It's 2009. You should really check out real estate. Like, I think you'd be great at it. No, got a great job, building my career. 2010, 11, man, you should really check out real estate. And in 2011, 12, he'd started a team. He moved to Keller Williams in 2009, and then he'd read this book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and started a team and it became the number one team in the office. And then within a couple of years, he was an equity partner in the OP of that office. And then a few years after that, I'm still seeing him, and I've now changed my employer a couple of times. And he's same pitch every February in Chicago. Mike, you really ought to check out real estate. I think you'd be great at it. And so in March of 2019, I drove up to Cleveland, Ohio from Columbus, where I was living, and I spent the day with him just to learn about what he was doing and how he did it and where he needed people or what the opportunity of real estate was. Then I drove home, and a couple weeks later, I quit my job, and I called him, and I was like, "Hey, I quit my job. I'm coming to Cleveland. We're going to do real estate together." And he was like, okay." And I was like, "Yeah." Uh, I was like, "I got a good background in finance. You said you don't have a commercial real estate division. Why don't you just let me start that?" Okay. So that's what we did. In 2019, April 2019, I moved to Cleveland. May of 2019, I got licensed. From May of 2019 to March of 2020, I practiced real estate full time, closed a little under $3 million in business, including one transaction was $1.6 million. So I had some big deals. And then I had a 1 year lease for 1,000 square foot warehouse. So I had them on both sides. And then in January of 2020, the team leader role was open. And so I raised my hand. I had a background in leadership and development and management and recruiting. So I interviewed, took the job on March 10th of 2020. March 13th, 2020, the world shut down. And so I had a very different experience as the team leader. I think one that I was incredibly lucky to have. I had a lot of access to a lot of people very quickly. But going back to the first point that I made, quoting Mark Twain, uh, I got very lucky. I got lucky. I was lucky to be waitlisted for that scholarship, which led me to apply to one, which led me to meet my uh, decades long friend and mentor and now business partner, Scott. And so I got into real estate, I think the same way that most people did, which was somebody I knew, I liked, and I trusted had found success there, and success that I viewed to be without limitation. And so that was very attractive to me.
Awesome. Shout out to Scott Phillips, right? For persistently and consistently telling you to get into real estate. That follow up was on point for years. I'm a big preacher of follow up. I actually coined Friday, follow up Friday. That's when I do a lot of my follow up because the fortune is in the follow up. So shout out to Scott. So you
Yeah.
got into team leadership right when COVID happened. What was that like?
It was a lot. I always say I got lucky with that because everybody was going through the same thing all at
Hmm.
once. And my ability to get in front of our agents quickly and consistently was able to be done in ways that it otherwise couldn't have been done. Like we were not hosting virtual sales meetings. We were not, um, no one was Zooming for a meeting, but all of a sudden I could block 8 hours in any day of the week and go from call to call to call to call to call that I could never do in person if I was
Mm,
scheduling to be here or be in this business center or this or that or the other thing. And so I got to be in front of the top 20% probably faster than any OP would think would be reasonable for a team leader. So again, I got lucky, I understand that experience was different for everybody and was tragic for many people and families. Um, I don't know if I would be on this call right now if I would have had to be a team leader in a normal environment, but I was able to leverage the thing that I had a lot of, which was time and energy, and direct it at the agents with no other distractions.
that's beautiful. I love that. And then, so you were a team leader at that market center. Were they a top profitable market center when you became the team leader?
We were in the top 20, and I think that the first couple of years that I was a team leader, maybe in 2000 in 2020, we were number 11 and number 9, and then number 11 in 2020, number 4 in 2021 or something like that. And then number 1 in 2023, number 1 in 2023 and then number 3 last year, number 4. Or number 3 in 2024 and then number 3 in 2025. Or number 4 in 2025. We missed number 3 by $110.
Last year?
Yeah, in
Wow.
2025. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a really fantastic OP in Maine. Her name's Kathy Manchester. She is incredible. And so her and I have had a good laugh about how close we were to each other this year. And I promised her that I would be booing her from the audience when she's on stage as one of the top 3. I think that is, inside of our company, any individual office, you'll find great culture and you'll find people really leaning into the mindset of abundance. As you go up into different areas, different regions, and then across the entire company, like Kathy Manchester having wild success with her market center in Maine doesn't negatively impact me one bit. And nor does my success in Cleveland do anything to limit what Andy Peters is doing with his fleet down in Atlanta. And I think that culture of abundance and agents helping agents supersedes a deal or a transaction or what's happening in the bullpen and really goes through every piece of our company and is most pronounced amongst the operators who are in all in the same boat and all trying to help each other win. It's really, really a lot of fun, and it's so unique, not only in the real estate industry, Lance, but in any industry. I mean, I've worked for corporations, great ones, where people are competing for promotions and people are competing for, who's the one with the bright idea and they don't share their work and all those other things that you hear, they exist. And maybe not in mass, but at least in part. I've never encountered that in Keller Williams, and it's so unique because it's not always to the giver's benefit, right? Like it's not always easy to have that mindset, but it's so well ingrained and alive inside of the market centers and inside of the company as a whole.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's why I love Keller Williams. All the top agents are willing to share their success secrets to all the other agents at the office. Because at the end of the day, they know, oh, the more those agents are successful, the more profit they bring to the office, the more profit they bring to the office, the more profit that is shared. So it's such a beautiful system. And then the profit of your market center isn't affecting the profit of any other market centers either. So it just creates this true win-win collaboration environment that is so
Yeah.
unique to Keller Williams. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I was looking at the numbers. Last year, you were the number 4 most profitable market center in all of KW. But you were number 1 in Ohio. And I think I look back, you profit shared back from 59. That is unreal. Shared back to the agents that helped your office grow, which is truly incredible. What other company does that? Like, that's insane.
None that I've ever been a part of or been aware of.
Definitely.
And
So
in the re and
how
there's a reason why. I mean, that's the largest single line item on my income statement is profit share. It's also the
Mhm,
best investment I can make
mhm,
because it's an investment in our agents as a reward for helping us grow the company.
absolutely. Yeah, do you instill, like, profit share into the culture of your office? Because 'Cause I'm here in Southern California, LA area, and I am shocked at how many agents never heard of profit share, don't know what it is, don't know how to participate, and are just like, what is that?" So is this, like, instilled in the culture of your office?
I don't think that there's anybody at any level who would tell you that they do as good a job as they should. I think that, like, there are probably plenty of people holding a license with our company in Cleveland who aren't, they're not experiencing it, they're not aware of it. And that's always going to be, um, a challenge, right? And I think that um, our conversations around it need to be evergreen, and that means that they need to be happening consistently. Not everybody's going to opt in. Not everybody's going to be interested. Not everybody's going to hear it. But as long as we're telling that story, and where I do think we have a good lore about it, is we have a few icons in the history of our company locally that have done very well through profit share. One being one of the individuals who founded our office. Her name's Nancy Emmerman, and her husband Marty. They were two of the 9 people who brought Keller Williams to Cleveland, Ohio. Nancy passed away a couple of years ago. Her husband is still runs a team and keeps an office in our market center. He's 81 years old, and he's in the office every day, leading the team. He he makes and because of one of the most amazing elements of profit share, that it is willable one time, he now collects, for both of them. And, he probably made $150,000 last year through profit share. The funny thing is that for the first 10 years that this company was open in Cleveland, they probably didn't make $5,000 in profit share. Like so many things in our industry, it's gradually then suddenly.
Mhm.
And, it is in part luck, skill, and timing again, how things came to be for them. But there is no there's no greater story for me to tell than Nancy's, because she was so excited about the company when it was just an idea, let alone when it became real, or when it became an office that spurred off 6 others, or when it became the number 1 real estate office in Northeast Ohio, or when Keller Williams became the number 1 brand in Northeast Ohio. Her excitement for what we were doing for real estate agents as business owners was constant. And that is what led to her ultimate success through profit share. Was not that she set out to recruit people to a company, but she was helping unlock potential in people through the models and systems that this company has built and teaches.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm so glad that you shared their story and how he made $150,000 just last year passively through profit share. That's
Yeah.
more than most households make working full time, which is crazy. But it does take some upfront work. And I think that's why many agents don't participate in it like they should, because there is a lot of upfront work. Like you said, the first 10 years, they probably didn't make $5,000, but now the ball is rolling. It's just building itself. So I'm getting to that point where it's starting to build itself. Some of my people that I sponsored on are like growing their downlines and everything, and I'm
Well,
helping
and
them do it.
yeah, and here's the thing about the beauty of doing it for the right reasons. And I always present profit share as a reward. It's a reward for
Hmm.
helping us grow the company. I mean, Nancy was still giving me referrals for new to business and capping agents all the way till the end. So it
Hmm.
wasn't that I mean, and Marty carries that tradition on through his team. Like he's helping his
Hmm.
team build their profit share. And I think that there is something to be said for, you know, you build it wide and time will build it deep, but you can do both constantly.
Hmm.
The opportunity it grows to the extent that the market center does. And the opportunity that we have is not to recruit a bunch of people and make a bunch of money next year. That's not a good model. The process or the opportunity is to fall in love with the process of what we do for agents and their businesses, and then go tell that story to the people that you see who aren't getting the experience they deserve.
Definitely.
And that's a day in, day out thing.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, what kind of systems and models do you all have locked in? Because you got ton of agents closing a ton of deals, helping them leverage, teaching all the systems and models. So, like for instance, if I would send you guys a new agent referral, they just got their license and they're shopping around at brokerages. Like, what all can you offer?
You mean from a value proposition standpoint, or what's the process we
Yeah,
use to, with that
both.
referral?
And you don't have to go into like splits or fees or anything.
No, no, I think it's, our same thing we would I mean, this is very similar. You're an agent yourself. You understand the mechanics of building a real estate business. It's really no different for us at the market center level. I mean, there's different levers to pull, there's different things to consider, but at the end of the day, the most valuable time that you can spend with another human being in relation to real estate is sitting at their kitchen table talking about the value of their home and how to manage their wealth. The most valuable thing I can do with my time is sit next to an agent or somebody who's interested in the real estate industry and help them understand what success looks like in the industry, how we can help them, the things that we have in place to do that. And there are 5 that I will always hit on. You bring specifically the new to business individual or an unlicensed individual. Like I want them to understand first and foremost, the foundation of our organization is rooted in culture. And so
Yes.
that culture shows up as our mission, our vision, our values, our beliefs, our perspective, our purpose, and is most well pronounced in the beliefs, which we refer to as our Y4C2Ts. Once you have a foundation of good culture, and make no mistake, culture is very simply who you are and what you do. I just gave you the what we do: mission, vision, values, beliefs, perspective, and purpose. The who we are is our agents. And so, in any given year, 75 to 80% of people who join our company name another agent as their sponsor, not me or a member of our leadership team.
Hmm.
With that, what comes next is training. When you got the who you are and what you do down, how you do it really matters. And we like to do business the right way, and that's rooted in culture. But the training that we offer at our company far outstrips anything else happening in the United States because nearly 100% of trainings that take place are led by agents who are subject matter experts in our marketplace. So when we teach Ignite,
Hmm.
it's not a rotation of the staff or the leadership team or the ALC. It is who is the single best person to teach when with sellers because they won the most sellers last year. So now that we've got culture and training set, the next thing is support. This is where we bring in a world class leadership team. I'm not shy to tell anybody on the planet, I'll put mine up against yours all the live long day. Leadership team, agent leadership council, and then agent led communities. We have a Black Realtor network that serves over 100 agents of color inside of our office. We have the Women of KWGM, which serves the needs of the women in our company. We have an investor mastermind and a mega agent mastermind. So no matter how you want to do business or who you are, there's a place for you to feel seen in a big, broad, diverse industry and company. With culture training and support solidified, we now move on to our proprietary tech stack, which is manifested through KW Command. So anything and everything that you could need as you grow a meaningful real estate business to help you hit your financial goals is available here. You don't have to go shop around and figure out how all these things talk to each other. You just log into Command. And then finally, the cherry on top are leads. We do not give people fish. We teach them how to fish, but the conversations begin and end in the real estate industry with leads. And so our value proposition is very simply those 5 things in that order.
That was perfectly said, and you nailed it. And no fluff, just boom, boom, boom. I love that. So I'm just gonna leave that be.
I've had that
Um,
conversation a few hundred times.
it seems like it. That was perfect. Awesome. So yeah, how you were team leader for a while, then you got into OP. How long have you been OP at the Greater Metropolitan Market Center?
I think it'll be, let's see, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be 3 years in June or July.
Perfect. And then you said right before this podcast, you just came from an ALC meeting. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah. So for those of the people that aren't Keller Williams or aren't sure what that is, can you kind of talk about the importance of the ALC?
Yeah, as I mentioned, ALC is an acronym. We've got about 752,000 of them inside of Keller Williams. But language is a root of culture. And so what you call things is important. And it's the Agent Leadership Council. And this is a group of top performing agents in our office that serve in a volunteer capacity to help me as the operating principal make critical decisions for the future of the company. And so, um, many decisions may be mine, but I want all of the opinions and points of view that I can get because I cannot and will not make decisions as a leader in a vacuum. So I view them, for me as the OP, as somebody who can inform decisions as a board of directors. The team leaders who serve the Agent Leadership Council and lead the Agent Leadership Council will have them involved with those specific communities, will put them on the training calendars, will invest in helping grow their business as a way to ensure that the models and systems that drive success in the industry that this company has created are known, understood, and implemented by those agents. There's nothing I hate to see more than an agent achieve overwhelming success, but to have built that success on unstable foundations. And so the
Mhm.
models and systems provide us with the foundation. You can get off the ride wherever you want. 20 units a year, 10 million a year, 100 million a year. I don't really care where you get off the ride, but I want the ride to keep going even if you decide that you don't want to climb any higher. And that to me is a great opportunity afforded to all of our agents, but most intensely to the members of the Agent Leadership Council who get exclusive one-on-one opportunities to learn from and coach with our team leaders.
Again, perfectly said. I love it. And it's no surprise why you all are one of the top most profitable offices because you lead with culture. From my personal observation, I see the market centers that are the most in culture and follow systems and models are usually the most profitable. And on the flip side, I see the market centers that don't follow culture, don't follow the proven systems and models are generally not too profitable. So it makes perfect sense why you all are the top. Last year was number 4 most profitable. The year before that, a number 3 most profitable. The year before that, I think you said the number 1 most profitable market center in all of KW. And that is because you lead with culture. So you teach all your agents and help them build massive wealth and success But this is the health and real estate podcast. So, what is
Yep.
all the fun with all this wealth if you don't have your health? So, how important do you think health is to your business or just in general?
There's really no way to overstate how important it is. Um, Many times, as you may know from your relationship with other agents, but any leader listening to this podcast, we spend our time in our entry into conversation and relationship typically comes through business. I want to achieve X, I want to earn Y, I want to get Z award. And then it evolves into, well, who does this person want to be? And what does it mean for them to be that? And that's where I say the models and systems, you heard my diatribe about getting off the ride. We've known for a very long time that humanity is happy to trade its health for wealth, and then at the later stages of life, trade their wealth for health.
Mhm.
Having and we live in a world of imbalance and counterbalance, and that's fine, but to what detriment do we pursue a single goal or vision, and what opportunities can be afforded to us if we start to serve the whole agent? And I think that is something that we are continuing to find ways to do through our various communities, agent led communities, is really helping agents live the life that they want through their real estate business. There's an associate, he keeps his office down the hall from mine. But his one of his daughters became school age, and so then he was dropping them off at a certain hour, and because he was having to get out of the house at a certain hour, he had to get up at a certain hour, and getting up at a certain hour, and he didn't want to start working right away, so he would exercise before he came into the office, but he was still in the office before most people, which then allowed
Mhm.
him to do his lead prep, then lead generation, then lead follow up, and he found that the simple action of starting his day with a demand to get someone to school completely changed the way that he approached his life. And I applaud him, because a lot of people do that and they just go home and they go back to bed, or they go home and they do anything other than things that serve their health or their business. And so
Mhm.
that's really important, to highlight those things, those wins. We teach financial peace and financial management in our market center. I'm teaching a course next week as a part of our Ignite series to start the year on business finance and how to manage your business money and your personal money, because that's another thing that this industry is wrought with. It not is not only unhealthy behavior, but and inconsistently healthy behavior is probably a better way to describe it, but also poor financial acumen. And if we can't manage our own wealth, we're going to have a damn hard time managing our clients.
Definitely. Yeah, health is wealth. It's very important to me. I'm very passionate about it. And, being in the real estate industry about 10 years now for myself, I've noticed industry is not the most health conducive. Agents could be always on the go, driving, showing houses, eating out, eating fast food, not eating. There's, here in LA, you can find a happy hour every night of the week, probably. Vendor partners are bringing in donuts and bagels. That's why I think it's very important to focus on your health. And also, there's been studies that show, the more healthier you are, actually, there's a direct correlation between your production if you're in sales. So it doesn't just improve your health, it also improves your sales, your health, or your wealth. So that's one of the reasons I started this podcast is I want to help um, create a healthier real estate industry. And next month, starting February 2nd, Monday, February 2nd, I'm actually doing a healthy agent challenge where I'm going to
Oh,
host on Zoom
nice.
and a little online platform. So it's going to be available to all agents. It's going to be free, and it's going to consist of just a few simple things. So I'm going to host a virtual power hour every day, like a 1 hour power hour, because the health of our business is lead generation or lead follow up. Then I'm going to encourage everyone to uh, do a daily gratitude and do daily power walks. So it's basically power walk, power hour, gratitude. And then also, I'm going to encourage people to either reduce or eliminate your alcohol intake for the month. Pretty simple challenge, and I'll send you the link and info for that so you can invite your agents. But I think it'll
Yeah,
be
I
a
would love
blast.
that. And I think it's, some of the things that I shared may seem particularly, uh, wise or prolific or whatever, and they're really not. I always think about, one of the great ironies of the book, The One Thing, is that it is many topics, but one of them is the section that focuses on the 7 circles. So
Hmm.
there's one thing that you can do for your business. There's one thing that you can do for work. There's one thing you can do for your spiritual life, your physical health, your personal relationship or key relationships, your personal life, and then your finances. And so you have these 7 things. So like, you don't have a day where there's only one thing to do. There's at least 7 every day.
Hmm.
And the longer we walk on the path, the easier it is to stay on the path. But the more we stray from the path, the easier it is to stray further. And, I'm very excited to hear about the simplicity with which you're approaching this challenge. It's not a thousand dial day. It's not, living the life of a monk for a month. It's like, let's go on a walk every day, get some
Hmm.
vitamin D, get some fresh air. Let's do something for our business every day. Let's connect with the good in the world, spirituality, and let's, figure out what else it is that we want. Um, Unfortunately, most people go through life doing what they think they're supposed to do or what they have to do, and very rarely stopping and thinking about what they want.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks for saying that. And I think when you're, trying to make some life changes or get healthier, I think the simpler the better. And you don't have to be perfect. As long as you're, the whole 80/20 rule, as long as you're showing up or doing it 80% of the time, you should be good. So the whole theme of this healthy agent challenge is health made simple, lead gen made fun. So that's going to be the whole goal behind.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a perfect way to end. I'm super. This was a blast. I can see why you're one of the most profitable market centers in all of KW. I'm definitely going to be sending you some referrals, and I appreciate it. This was a blast. Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Michael.
Thank you, Lance, and thank you for what you're doing to help our industry.
1,